York's classic rock, Q1043.
So we just got word that we're live. So you're hearing one of the most legendary voices in radio right now, Jim Kerr, who's been on the air for 50 years in New York, which congratulations on that. That was an amazing show. But also you're just an incredible human being with iHeart Radio, our company, because I got a text from Trevor before the hurricane that said that you had asked that, maybe we could come on the show with you and get some ears on Tampa and the relief that we need, that we really, really need right now. So thank you for being such a great example for so many reasons in radio and the community effort. Definitely.
Well, thank you. And now we're going to go on the air here at the Q in New York.
So now we're on in New York.
It's Bon Jovi, and I'll be there for you here at New York's classic rock, Q104.3. And we are joined live by our colleagues in Tampa Bay at WFLZ, that's 93.3 FM. And we have the Joe Show on the air with us, hosted by Joe and Ashley and Jed and Terry. Joe Carbello is the host. Good morning to you, Joe, and to your whole team. We have Shelly Sunstein here with us as well.
Hi, Shelly.
Good morning. Hi,
good morning.
Good morning.
I mean, two hurricanes, just one right after the other. Yeah. Now, with Helene, I understand you went on the air and raised 8,000 pounds of food for feeding Tampa Bay from your show.
Yeah. So, and one more time, thank you so much for having us on. This has been, it's been a rough month, but we're a pretty incredible community that cares about each other. So we've been able to give a lot, and we need to give more, but we did a broadcast over 12 hours. We raised $58,000 and 8,000 pounds of food. And it continued throughout the week. We ended up getting, I think it was 15,000 pounds of food. Money raised more than $100,000, and we thought that was enough. And then Milton came.
Right. And what's the situation at this particular point in time? Are there still a few million people without power? Yeah. Are there still difficulties people have in accessing groceries, for instance? I mean, what's the current situation?
So here's the thing. We're live in Tampa right now too on FLZ, and 95% of the people that are listening, including everyone that's on this call right now, we don't have power. So more than 1.5 million customers are without power, and those are the customers. So you think about the house, could have 5-6 people inside of that house that still are without power. As far as grocery stores go, we got word that grocery stores are open finally today. They don't have power either though, so they're running off of generators. So with that, limited hours. We're all kind of in that assessment mode right now.
Now, our company, iHeart Radio, took our staff from Tampa and spread you guys out throughout the state, right? To make sure that there was always somebody that was available to be on the air, regardless of the circumstances.
Which, how great is our company that they even give us the ability and the equipment to be able to go live wherever. With modern technology now, we can go live. I'm in a hotel room right now because I had to go to a hotel room that had power. Our building is at limited access. We ended up moving to get the new studios. We don't own it anymore. So we're not even allowed to go into that building as they're still surveying to make sure that it's safe to be in there. But we're all around. They opened the Miami offices so we could have our emergency broadcast based out of there. It's actually why we can't even answer our phones right now because they're in Miami, and they're figuring that out. So
what cities are you guys in?
I'm in Orlando. Ashley, you're in Orlando.
I'm in
Jet,
Orlando.
where are you again?
I'm in St. Augustine, Florida.
And then Terry, who's on our show, she's not on right now, figuring some things out. She, believe it or not, her family wouldn't leave Port Charlotte. So she went down to Port Charlotte where they had the record-breaking storm surges. Thank God she's safe and she's okay and no damage to her home as well.
Well, I recall, and I'm looking at Shelly Sunstein right now, when we dealt with Superstorm Sandy in 2012. Shelley, Shelley slept on the couch for a week at the station.
You're
For a
kidding.
week, she didn't go home. She just
Jeez.
stayed on duty.
But you know, the thing is, because, you know, radio is a lifeline. People were, this was the only way people were getting their information, and it was going on day after day after day. I mean, you're doing an incredible service. You really are.
Well, I read an article the other day that said that circumstances like this define the why of radio.
100%.
You know, why are we here? It's
Yeah.
to be able to be available when circumstances like this display themselves, so that you can help your community.
And that's why, you know, we want to be in the studio, we can't, so we had to bring the studio to somewhere to where we could be on. And that's why our iHeartRadio app is so great, because you may not be able to get to your car could be flooded, so we have the technology for that. You also might not have power, so to be in your car and turn on that radio, it's a direct line to figure out, all right, first responders are headed to where I am. Or, you know, we've been connecting people. And Shelley, I'm sure that you were doing this, but it's simple calls that people are calling into our show going, I need to figure out how to turn on my generator. I don't even know how to do that. And I can't get Wi-Fi on my phone. Like, could you guys tell me and walk me through the process of that? Or I need a generator. Can you get it to me? So it's almost like we're doing Tradio right now and like Swap Shop. Like we're back to that. But, you know, we're not first responders. We don't save lives, but we can connect people, which is important.
And people ought to have a portable radio with batteries.
They should.
People should always have a portable radio with batteries.
Yeah.
So the whole team in Florida has just been doing an incredible job. Yeah. And competitors of our company have been doing an incredible job as well.
Completely. We were doing that broadcast for the Helene efforts, and we're going to be out, you know, doing even more in then for the next couple of weeks. But what was amazing was while we're out and while we're broadcasting, and you guys get Tampa Bay, it's like New York. People are very competitive. Sometimes they're a little bit mean to each other. We act that way, but wasn't that case. We had competitors coming up and dropping off donations, and it was like, hey, could you come on the air? And they're like, we'll come on the air, but we're just doing it because we want to give. Like, it wasn't an ego type of thing. Everything's been stripped, and we're just trying to, as a whole, just trying to help and trying to do whatever we can to get our community back to the way we normally are, which is a beautiful place to be.
Well, how can our friends, our community here in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania, how can they help?
So we have an organization that we work with that is specifically for Tampa Bay. And there are places that you can donate that are fantastic. If you see that there's relief efforts, we want to make sure that just people are helping. So any way helps. But specifically for us, we work with Feeding Tampa Bay, which the money that they get immediately goes out to our community. The supplies that is donated immediately. They're on sites right now in multiple counties giving donations to people in need. It's feedingtampabay.org/relief. Any type of donation. We had the CEO on a little bit ago. He said, if you want to give 10 cents, 10 cents will help in any way. We also have it linked on our Instagram and social medias at Live with Joe Show. If you just want to click that, it will send it to you. But feedingtampabay.org/relief. And if you've got 5 cents, if you've got a penny, they'll take it, and it will really help out our home.
Our friends can come up with more than that.
Look
Certainly.
Yes.
You guys have rich listeners.
No, I mean, we can do it because the need is urgent, and the time is now. And just because we didn't experience it here doesn't mean that we can't feel for those of you who have experienced it there. So it's feedingtampabay.org/relief.
Just hearing them talk about it now reminds me so much of Sandy coming into the city to do radio, and to the left was, you know, Times Square and the lights were on, but then I made a right to the radio station, and all of lower Manhattan just being dark and no power, no one able to walk around, and we were running generators up to keep the radio on. So those stories that you guys are talking about reminding me of Sandy And so that's why I think, we should remember a little bit of that and try to help out our friends down there.
Yeah, because our friends down there helped us. Our friends from all over the United States helped us to deal with Superstorm Sandy.
In these moments too, it's very interesting to see how much we care about each other, and all politics are stripped. And this isn't about, voting for someone. It's not about classes. This is all about us being people and getting back to just genuinely helping each other. And thank you guys once again to be able to spread this news and get Feeding Tampa Bay out there. It means a lot to be on with you.
And thank you, Joe and Ashley and Jed and Terry, for being on the job and doing what it is that you do, which is so important, especially at a time like this. It's our friends from the Joe Show, WFLZ in Tampa. Thank you so much for taking the time to come onto our show this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
Yes,
so much.
thank you.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.